Hi, it's Ricky from Moshville Times here once again. Tonight I'm delighted to welcome Rotterdam, Bratislava-based six-piece band Distant. Now tonight we've got vocalist Alan. So obviously it's good to see you and you're looking well. How have things been with lockdown? Has everything been okay with your job and your friends and family and okay with COVID?
Yeah, first of all, hey, I'm Alan. Hey, everybody. And yeah, like it struck pretty hard, but I think we all kind of held up really well and kept our sanity, and that's probably the best thing you could do in these tiring times, to keep your sanity.
Yeah, definitely. But it's great to hear that everything's going okay. But with the lockdown then and the shit year that has been 2020 and maybe even the first half of 2021, it's extremely pleasing to hear that Distant and you guys have been pretty much busy at it and never really stopped writing. So although your last release, Eons of Oblivion, was released in June, how did it feel to get the final part of the trilogy? That is, see, you guys done this to mean purpose. Tyranno to Fear out there for the masses to
I really hope, yeah, you got it good. You got it good.
You have no idea how many times I practiced that before this.
Yeah, so basically, like, we've began to write the whole trilogy as the first lockdown hit. So as we got tour canceled and stuff like that, we were like really quick to call to arms, like, yo, we're not gonna waste time. I'm not gonna cry over spilled milk that we can tour. Let's go. We finally have time. We can write. So we wrote a shit ton, and yeah, it was basically non-stop grind.
I just can't believe how much writing that you've actually done in this period of time. But is there nothing to do in Rotterdam or anything like that? Or is Rotterdam a boring city or something?
Well, like me personally, I'm from Bratislava, and there's not much to do. Everything, like literally everything was locked down. Everything was closed down. You literally like just, you could have gone out, but
yeah,
there was nothing to do. Like literally like a ghost city. So made a use of it, and it did well. I mean, we didn't really plan to stretch it as much as the trilogy. Firstly, it was like it was supposed to be a two parts, but then we've been like really on a writing spree, and it was like, okay, this is too good not to release it. So we came up with expanding the context and the contents of the album tiny bit more, which is why it ended up with 19 tracks and the book. Yeah, so
yeah. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later, though. But for those that are new to the band, then how would you say it compares to your early material? And do you think you've found the sound that you've been looking for with this new material, with the latest release, especially the 3 new songs? Is that kind of the, not newer direction, but is that the kind of sound that you've always been looking for?
Yeah, we always trying to make something different from other bands, and like I joined the band in 2017. Yeah. Before that, they've been going towards more of like this heavy beat down, no down tempo, like not so dark, but more of like angry. When I joined, we went back to like deathcore roots and more towards like mixing the old school fast deathcore, like the MySpace era deathcore, with the new one, like with the really slow breakdowns and generally like the down tempo stuff.
Yeah,
and that's where we've been finding ourselves in, and making it like more ominous and basically trying to build the atmosphere with the music itself that's gonna make you feel like you're watching a epic horror or fantasy movie. So it's not, so it wouldn't be just the music, just the one feeling, but completely drag you into the thing.
Yeah. You certainly achieve that. I mean, I've watched countless videos, and that's something I'm going to move on to later on, because your name is absolutely everywhere. Whatever social media that you look at, Distant is there. You don't have to search far for you guys, because you're always producing new material, you're always releasing new videos, you're always doing something. But is that definitely the end of the concept, or is there still a wee bit inside you that's thinking, maybe I could do this?
It's I would say it's kind of hand in hand. Like, first off, like we got a lot to tell with the story and stuff, and we want to keep fresh things to the people, like to satisfy our fans. And nowadays we are living in a really fast era, and if band doesn't release something over a year, people start thinking that the band broke up. Like, it came to my notice that some bands haven't released material for 2 years now, basically because of COVID. Like, for example, their last tour been in early 2019 or late 2018, and I see people talking about the bands like that, thinking they broke up or something.
Yeah.
And like, it's something to think about, because on one hand, you want to take time to create something, but at the same time, you don't want to be slept on and be forgotten about. And since we are not such a big name, we want to make something epic and grand for people to remember us with, and that's why we basically came up with the concept of these 19-track album released across the year, rather than just drop it all at once. That way we could have had more emphasis and more focus on certain songs, rather than release the full album, have people focus on couple of songs, and as it is usual with some albums, that you have the main tracks and rest is filler. We try to get rid of the filler as much as possible and have all real tracks.
Yeah. Thanks very much for that. I mean, it's certainly something that's came up a lot in my interviews. Is the way COVID's hit, it's changed everything in relation to like social media and online and how bands are keeping their name out there. There's still some bands that will wait that extra 6-9 months, a year, and then they'll release an album. Or there's bands like yourself that are releasing a song, 2 months later another song, 2 months later another song. I don't know if there's a clear winner, but
yeah, I mean, releasing this fast isn't really sustainable, especially for a musician, because you can burn out really easy. And but it also takes time, and with how COVID treated every one of us, and basically everyone was on social media for way more, and people basically got really used to watching everything because they had all the time they needed. Like, most of the population wasn't working or was locked down, so they've been stuck to the screen, and now they got used to it, and now they get used to gather the information much faster than before. So I would say it's a double edge, like with these.
Totally agree. But has it made you, in the last 18 months, has it made you look more at the more business side of the band as well? Like, are you now doing things that you didn't normally do with the band beforehand, but you're now being kind of forced to do it because you're basically having to deal with it? Like, whether it's marketing, whether it's just getting merch out there, doing things yourself now?
Yeah, definitely was. We've been more focused on the marketing side and how to build the brand around the band. And since we had more time, we could invest more time into learning new things and basically expanding the horizons or the platforms or whatever, like how to get new fans even without tours or shows.
Cool. Thanks for that, Alan. But with Eons of Oblivion, then, has it always been planned to be released in June, or was it because of the world situation it was actually maybe ready I don't know, winter last year or something like that? Or was it always planned to be released at this time?
It was planned for June. It was planned for June, but in a bit smaller scale.
Yeah.
But then we just went all out.
So what I'm actually thinking though, like because you are prolific songwriters, you might already have new songs since June, or certainly new ideas.
Yeah, well, everybody has new ideas all the time. But no, right now we are focusing on nailing the live set and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Since we had a couple of shows now finally after the 18 months.
Yeah.
Played some cool festivals and all that. So the focus now is more into growing as a musicians, but we definitely we think about stuff and try to work on something new, even if it's not music, new, distant in general. That's on our mind 24/7. So
yeah,
it's definitely working here.
So how easy or difficult is it for you to like travel all the time to meet the other members of the band and then go on tours in other countries and stuff like that? Is it draining?
It's not as difficult as it seems. Like we live 2-hour flight away, so it's not as bad. Like, okay, it's you have to fly in or drive 12 hours.
Yeah.
But it's not as much of a hassle since we clicked together with the guys. Me and the drummer are basically from Slovakia, and the rest is from the Netherlands. And I would say it's worth it. Like they are great musicians. Our drummer is a sick drummer. Like I can't find anybody better than him. And that's me speaking because I've been playing in bands with him for last 10 years and I trust him with my life.
Good.
But
I'm sure
yeah,
he'd say the same thing about you.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that. So again, with the last 18 months and you couldn't really meet, how did you communicate your ideas for the songs then?
We've wrote every bit of the album. We wrote through Messenger and Skype, basically.
So do you sometimes get like sleepless nights?
We bounced ideas back and forth.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, like we usually started at around noon, midnight, and it was just like sometimes the nights were really productive. Sometimes the nights were like we wrote nothing and just talked.
Yeah.
But in general, it was fun. Like we bounced ideas back and forth. Guys bounced some ideas over there, then we bounced it together with our end, and basically sending stuff all the time.
I'm just wondering if you have like sleepless nights with Nuri sending you like guitar riffs at 4 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that, saying this is the best riff I've ever written. Listen to this.
Yeah. Like we had this.
You get that all the time? Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Like for example, I can't play guitar, so but I've been coming up with some riffs for the album as well, and it was just like really late in the morning and was watching this movie, and then some ideas came to my head, and it's like quickly record a voice memo, send it over to our guitarists, and it's like, yeah, you should do it like this.
Yeah. That's you getting your revenge at 4 o'clock in the morning. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So you guys are prolific songwriters, as I've already said, but again, you're not shy in releasing music videos. So I suppose it's a conscious decision within the band that videos must be made to promote the music and keep the name of Distant out there. Do you do a lot of the videos yourself within the band?
Like the ideas mostly come from me. Like I write all my lyrics.
Yeah.
And the story for Whole Distant and Eons of Oblivion we wrote together with Elmer, our bassist.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the videos and basically the visual aspect of the band is under my direction, under my command, and I basically try to kind of direct like what and how goes with the visuals and stuff like that. The
Yeah.
music video ideas are my thing, and then I cooperate with the video producer and stuff like that. So it's kind of like hand in hand with the guy who's doing the video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I give the base of the idea, and then I want to do them their way on it.
Yeah, I mean, with the title track "Eons of Oblivion," it must have been especially pleasing to get the whole band together and actually perform together as a band.
Yeah.
It must have been like when you went in the studio, you're like, "Who are you again? What is it you play?" Since it's been so long since you've seen each other, but it must have been brilliant doing the video and being together.
Yeah, it was amazing, since first two videos were filmed here with only me.
Yeah.
And then the next two music videos we flew over and shot 3 music videos in one weekend.
Wow.
And that was tiring, but it was worth it to finally be together in one picture and one room recording new album. It was great.
See, it's easy for the guys with instruments because they can just pick up their instruments and play, whereas you've got your vocals, but you've also got the ideas and in the direction of the way that you want the videos to go. So you've got a wee bit of added pressure like these guys don't have. They just pick up their guitar and that's it, done.
Like that, they helped a lot through and helped me a lot throughout the process. I'm really a stressful guy. Like I'm a ticking bomb, and these guys always know how to calm me down, and they do it well to cope with my stress levels. So I really have to give them that thanks guys for keeping up with me.
I'm nearly crying here. I'm nearly crying. But we touched on it a wee second ago there. You're obviously the vocalist of the band, and you mentioned that you do the lyrics. Do you welcome contributions from the band, or are you quite, I'll take care of lyrics and I'll be fine? Or do you actually welcome the band to contribute? Or would you like them to contribute more?
Mostly I don't let anybody touch my lyrics. But like when there's something I definitely like take notes, or if we like have another idea or stuff like that, or guys don't like something, then I try to firstly oppose it, then change it, and then see that it's actually good, to listen to somebody else from time to time. Yeah. But they do give input, as I do give input to the instruments as well. So it all kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like when I see you writing the lyrics, you see yourself singing those lyrics. So if these guys add in or take some out, then it's totally adjusting the way that you address the lyrics or singing the lyrics.
I would say it's still me. Like it doesn't feel like when somebody else puts their input or their note into that, that it wouldn't be me, because in the end the lyrics are the projection of the end product. Yeah. So whenever there's something else, I still gonna do it my way, and like not that I ignore the fact, or ignore that something added by somebody else, but just give it my twist.
Yeah. Well, that's something I was going to touch on as well. Like I said a minute ago that it's easy for the guys to pick up their instruments and just play. But with you being the vocalist then and not being able to record or rehearse or anything like that, how did you keep your vocals in check?
I do rehearse. Like if there's a empty room and I'm home alone, I do that.
Yeah.
I do that.
I was just wondering what you're thinking, what your neighbours, maybe your neighbours don't like you very much because you're practicing singing in the shower or you're singing in the car or whatever.
There was this one time when we freshly moved in and I was recording some stuff from Tyrannotopia back at home. and my neighbor came up knocking on my door and asking like if it's coming from our flat, and she thought like this place is haunted. And then she been like, oh yeah, so you're probably playing video games, right? Like, could you turn it down a bit? And I was like, yeah, sure, video games. I will turn it down. And that was the last time I recorded something at home.
Well, if you refer to as your vocal style as haunting, then you're definitely doing a good job. So
yeah. I felt flattered when I heard that, like deep inside.
Yeah, but also you guys aren't shy on doing different products with your releases, and it's absolutely amazing that you've released an ebook to coincide with the trilogy of Tyrannotophia. See, I'm just saying it quick now. So the amount of time and effort must have been a burden, but seeing it in its complete form and in a hardback as well, it must be especially pleasing to finally see the product, the artwork and everything, get the feel of a real book.
Yeah, it was stunning. Like, it was really weird when I got it in hand and was like, yeah, we really did this. Like, it was really, I felt honored and flattered, and I don't know, I had all the feelings. Like, I don't know, I don't have a kid, but if I ever had a kid, I for sure know that this is how it feels.
So was it always the intention to release a book, or was it something that came laterally?
It came hand in hand during the process of writing the album, because we had this story in mind ever since we released our debut, Tyrantopia.
Yeah.
And we had some sort of lore in mind, some sort of story, and I've been slowly like writing it up and stuff like that, but it never actually came towards actually doing it.
Yeah.
So as we had so much time and energy and motivation and all the creative fluids were flowing, then we were like, okay, let's do this. And we just pedal to the metal.
Yeah. Well, it looks an absolutely stunning product. So I've got to tip my hat to you for doing that. I can only remember Niall going into that so much detail. I remember Niall released an album and they just went on pages and pages about explaining about the Egyptian history and whatever the song was about. Mm-hmm. But seeing something like this is just completely different. So I hope it sells well, mate. I hope it sells well. But yes, so is there anything that you've done differently between previous recordings to that of Eons of Oblivion that you think that you might take going forward, or do you feel that you've got a settled formula on the recording front?
Well, Tyrannotophia was sort of recorded the same way as Eons, but it was written a different way, because some songs were written vocals first, or like the vocal patterns, and then build around that. Whether in Tyrannotophia it was mostly songs done first and then the vocals came in. Yeah. And now we experimented a lot with this album, so there was a lot of different approaches. Like, we had new drummer, so on drums that was complete step up from the previous release. The previous release was basically all music was written by Nuri, our guitarist.
Yeah.
And him alone. And I just took care of the vocals. But now with Eons and basically all 3 EPs and Eons together, we worked on the songs together as a whole. Like, some songs were created by me and Vlad. Some songs were created by Vlad and Nuri. Some songs were being created by Vlad and Jano. And we basically joined forces, and everybody gave their bit of each other's blood into that.
Yeah. Well, it certainly sounds as if you have. This must be although you're proud of all your releases, this one must be the one that you're most proud of.
Yeah, definitely. To this day, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do next. But so who produced the album for you then? Where was it recorded?
It was recorded basically in Netherlands and Slovakia. Like we done the recordings ourselves, and was produced by Simon Pietroforte. He's Italian from the Divergent Studios.
Yeah.
It's also the band Rot, really good band. So be sure to check that out as well.
Yeah, certainly will. Certainly will. So I'm going back to like how the songs are constructed. I take it there are the main songwriters of the songs, or is this in a band where all members contribute? But what I'm wondering though is, because you're a sextet, there's 6 of you, there must be a hell of a lot of negotiating what goes in and what stays out of a song. So I'm just wondering how you keep it all together. Does somebody come with an idea and then you all vote for it, or are you?
Yeah, like mostly it's a popular vote, but I would say like we are a perfect bunch because we trust each other. Like sometimes, like yeah, there are some disagreements and stuff.
Yeah.
In songwriting or something,
Yeah.
but in the end, if somebody doesn't like my idea, they just trust me. And same, if I don't like something at first, I'll just vent out, and then I'll trust them anyway. And in the end, it always turned out sick and better than the one who was disagreeing expected. So I would say like we really trust each other with our skills and intentions. So that's why there is not really a bad time with like trying to push some ideas through.
Yeah. I was actually quite disappointed in your answer, to be honest with you. I thought there would have been like blood on the walls or fisticuffs in the studio or something like that. I thought you were actually going to say with my ideas, if nobody likes them, then tough shit is staying in. That was the impression I got. No, but it sounds as if you're now a very, very strong unit. Like I've obviously looked you up in social media and things like that. So it looks as if you're now a strong unit and you're ready to just take distant forward. So yeah. And to help with that, you're signed to Unique Leader Records. I think that's a couple of years now you've been signed to them now. So they're huge as well. So that must, did you have a lot of offers to be signed to a label, but as soon as you saw Unique Leader, that's us?
Yeah, like Unique Leader was actually like our first label to like contact us directly.
Yeah.
And we've been shocked. And yeah, like ever since we've been just with Unique Leader, they've been awesome treating us well, and they really opened a lot of doors to us. And thanks to them, it's also where we are now. So I'm really grateful to be part of Unique Leader.
So everything's going very well with the relationship so far? Good.
Yeah.
You would say that anyway, wouldn't you? Yeah. Yeah, but you've already played, we're talking about the live front now, you've already played a couple of gigs recently in Czech and Slovakia. So how were the gigs and how good was it to play in front of a crowd again?
It was something like really, really weird after such a long time.
Yeah.
And especially when last time we toured was in 2019 with Ingested, where we opened, and it was a whole different crowds we played now.
Yeah.
Bigger crowds, big festivals, hundreds of people. And the jump between the last show and the first show after that was really huge. And wow, it was amazing. Like I felt nervous. I felt really nervous as it was the first show.
Yeah. So how did you prepare for going on stage then? What do you do backstage to prepare your voice ready for singing?
Well, for the first show after COVID, we went our first practice just before the show.
Wow.
We rented a venue in the same city the festival was happening, and we had our first practice there. It went great. The show went great.
Who made the most mistakes?
Probably me.
You forget your own lyrics. I don't know.
It's not that, but I'm the only one who doesn't use click in ears.
Right, I see.
because it disturbs me. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I have to get better there. But yeah, there was this one point that I forgot one line, and I was like, oh shit.
You just made something up on the spot. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
but it was amazing. Like I was really really nervous before the first show, but after that, it all fell down. Like after the first song, it was gone.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. But I know like a few bands done like a virtual gig. Was there ever a discussion about just you guys being in separate places and just playing a couple of songs, or do you think that there was just too many logistics in the way of doing something like that?
We've been thinking of doing like a live gig, but as a wall band. But then again, the logistics and travel restrictions didn't really work on into our cards. So we just scratched the idea and we said like, okay, like let's just wait it out and see, because I watched a few live shows like this, and it didn't feel like.
I thought Ingested, you talk about Ingested there. Ingested on a brilliant one.
No, the Ingested. If all the live sets was like Ingested, that's a different, because Ingested, it was theatrical, it was awesome. Like that one was awesome. But I'm talking about all these which they rented out venue and just played the set, and it didn't feel that good. But if they would add something on top of just the music, like what we try to do as well, to not focus on just the music but the theatrics, that was amazing. The Ingested gig was well done.
I mean, that was DVD quality, but it's like everything Ingested, like yourselves, I just don't think that they can do any wrong at this moment in time. And seeing that show, it was just absolutely, they played a stunning set, but you can just see them at the end of the song, they're waiting for a crowd reaction. So it must have been a really, really strange feeling just playing to an empty room, but they gave it their all. As every band that I've seen, they gave it their all, you know, but that was just top class. Ingested, love them. But still talking about the live front though, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the Mental Cruelty dates next April. When you come to the UK. So it's also good to see that foreign bands don't forget that a UK tour just isn't London. So I'll be seeing you at the Glasgow gig. But that's quite a stretch of a tour that you're going to be playing. So do you have anything before then? Do you have plans before the end of the year for gigs then?
For end of this year, we don't really have plans on doing any more shows or tours per se. Because the situation is weird right now as it is. We don't know how it's going to be by the end of the year, so we rather not book anything than to again postpone it and postpone it and postpone it. Like for example, even this Mental Cruelty tour was postponed even before it was announced. So this what people got was like already a postponed date. So
I mean that's I think governments are just like the Scottish government, well the UK government especially, but the Scottish government, they're kind of saying you've had the vaccines now, the restrictions are more or less gone, it is what it is now, you know. I mean, we had Bloodstock a few weeks ago here. Everybody that went was all negative. You had to show that you were naked and stuff like that, but people were coming away from it testing positive. You know, it's there now. It's there now. So we'll see if there are going to be more restrictions. Hopefully there won't be.
Like I would say, like right now, like we are really in a gray area, like whether it's over or not. So it's really one big unknown right now. We are not trying to get too much before that tour. Like that Mental Cruelty tour is gonna be the first one.
I mean, it's testament to you guys as well that the band is still together, because really the only way that bands can make money now is touring and merch. So the fact that you're still going and you're even stronger, really, it says a lot for you as well, because it's a major part of the income that's lost to you. But you found other ways, you've developed, you've just thought of different ideas, different products, and just kept the name out there, and it's certainly working. So
yeah, like we haven't been touring too much even before COVID, so it didn't really struck us. Like we had a couple of tours planned, we played a couple of tours, but we played just one like really big tour before COVID.
yeah,
so it didn't really hurt us as much of the profit side. So we focused on delivering other stuff, and we are not in it for money.
yeah.
So we don't expect a lot of money to be made.
Yeah.
And that's what we know. Like it's not our main job.
Yeah.
So we can't expect it to be a main job as of now.
Cool. Listen, Alan, I really appreciate your time here. I've only got a couple of questions left. But I was just wondering what your thoughts on this were. Before the internet, magazines and fanzines were the places to find out about new bands and trends, but now publications are being replaced with thousands of websites catering for all genres. So do you think that some of the passion's been lost, or do you think that the internet's been a good thing for music and a good thing for Distant?
For Distant, it was definitely a good thing because we've been playing internet last couple of months. So yeah, but I would say like it was a good thing at start. Like right now, it like all in all, it's a good thing because there's always new music, but sometimes there's too much of the new music that you can access.
Yes.
I remember back a couple of years back when like the blogs were a thing. Like I didn't really live on the MySpace because I haven't had internet over here so soon as the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really familiar with MySpace. But later on, like when Facebook started being a thing, I started noticing like fan pages and blogs in general, and that's how I found out new music. Like I just browsed the blog and saw like, yeah, this has a cool artwork, and that's like I had the time to keep up and check nearly every band because there wasn't like 70 releases a day.
Yeah.
So it was earlier, in the earlier times, it was like it might be because I was younger as well, didn't have a job, I had more time for myself, but also it was a way less music to digest.
Yeah. I mean, I'd imagine the internet for Distant, you're finding out fans that are playing in weird countries like Uzbekistan or something like that. You've got fans there in Brazil and North America and stuff like that. But I mean, I think I'm a wee bit older than you. So I remember the day where you would get like cassette tapes, or like you would send like £2 away in the post, and then a couple of days later you get your demo, you get a letter from the band, you get flyers coming out, and you'll listen to it, and you're like, I don't know if I like it, but because you've invested in it, you would listen to it again and again and then make up your mind. But now you can go on like a streaming platform, press play, 10 seconds, oh no, that's shit. But like you say, there's so many other bands doing it now, you just instantly dismiss the band and listen to the next one. But I grew up in an age where like CDs should be burned, it should be cassettes and vinyl, you know? So,
yeah.
But then again, so many people are finding out about Distant like that, because of all the social media avenues that you can use. Yeah, I've had countless arguments over a beer about this, you know, and it'll never end. But I love the fanzines and the demos and stuff like that, and I just don't know if that will ever be replaced.
Yeah, I definitely love the physical side of it.
Yeah,
I still buy this. I still buy CDs, even though I probably never open them. But I still buy the CDs just for the sake of having the physical thing of album I love.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Thanks a lot for that, Alan. So yeah, just really, what's next for Distant then? If you're not going to be doing any tours, I'm frightened to have another interview with you in December because you've got another 18-track album.
Well, never.
So what's next for Distant then? What's the next plan?
Well, definitely, hopefully, finally, next year, do the tours.
Yeah.
Play the world, finally play the music, all the new music to our fans, then focus on writing new material and
start the whole cycle again.
yeah.
Yeah. Just the last question then. This is usually the time where I ask the band members about the guitars and their setup and stuff like that. So obviously with you being the vocalist then, have you went through like a range of microphones, like when you're in the studio or you're recording, have you went through a range of microphones before you finally settled on the one you want, or you just get a microphone and just do
I just did one I wanted and I stick with it. and for the shows I always used in-house microphone until recently I finally got the one I wanted. After 10 years I got my own mic.
You want to say what it is, or is it a trade secret?
It's the basic Shure SM58.
That's the one
that I use live. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were going to give me something unique there, but it's a very good microphone.
It's the old and gold.
Yeah.
Good old reliable.
Well, it certainly does the business. So listen, so where would we find you in social media then? I know that's a silly question because you're just going to say everywhere. So how will we find you in the main channels?
Well, we mostly go by name Distant Official.
Yeah.
And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
How do you find TikTok, by the way? Do you find that you're getting quite a big audience from it?
Oh yeah, we are, but I don't understand TikTok at all. Like, I'm from the generation where people should know TikTok and how it works, but when you give it to me, I feel like a caveman. Like, our bassist handles that, he understands some of it.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't understand it at all. Like, I watch funny videos there for hours. It's funny. I basically stare into the void all the time when I'm checking these. It's so, and I see these cool videos people doing, but when I have to do a video or something like that, wow, man, I can.
Good stuff, Alan. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Like I said to you off the air, this will be on Moshville Times. We'll certainly get a song or two on Moshville Radio, which I'm involved with as well. Certainly when you tour up in April, I'll catch up with you again. This will not be the last interview that we have, and I can honestly say it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And I wish you every success with Distant, because they deserve to be heard.
Thank you too much. It really means a lot.
No worries. Thanks, Alan.